Welcome to Selling Seven Figures Top Performers Tell All, hosted by Kevin Mullaney. Each month, we're diving deep to uncover the secrets of selling big, closing smart, and hitting your highest goals. One guest, one mission. Let's make more money. Ready? Let's go. Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Good day. It is your boy, Kevin Mullaney, the Pat McAfee of Promotional Marketing Podcasts. And I am joined on Selling Seven Figures, Top Performers Tell All by our new friend, new to the industry. This is going to be his breakout performance, folks. Welcome, everybody, from Allegiance Custom, Will Martin.
Thanks for having me on the show, man.
So this is funny, Will. Will is based in Greenville, North Carolina. He drives all the way to Raleigh, North Carolina every day for work, which is how far, Will?
It's on a good no traffic day. It's about an hour and 15, but if you get a wreck on 264, 64, it can get upwards of about 2 hours. So,
all right. So he drives in that far to Raleigh, North Carolina every day. And I was super excited. He agreed to be on the podcast with my reckless sales tactics and midnight hour antics. I couldn't get it in the StreamYard to get his password and the link over to him today. Will is actually here in Richmond, Virginia.
In Richmond.
A solid shy of 3 hours away. I mean, this guy is a road warrior. Give it up for Will, the longest ever.
Dude, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough, man.
All right.
Like the story of my life.
Good news is we're about to celebrate 250 years on this country. World Cup's going on. So I am going to take Will out for some beers and some queso after this. We're going to watch a little football. But Will, as we ask everyone on this podcast, not in-person meeting, how exactly did you get into the industry? How long have you been in the industry? Because I would put you in kind of the rookie mode right now.
Oh, 100%. Less than a year on paper. Our business was founded January 25. At that point in time, I was working for a large-scale agribusiness based out of Snow Hill, North Carolina, running their operations. And that was my second job after I got out of the military. Both primarily in operations roles, both about 2.5, 3 year stints at each, and was constantly just looking for something where I could have a degree of autonomy and ownership, and whether it was growing my department or eventually working my way up to being at the executive level, and having a stake in a company where I can actually call my own shots and build a culture and a team that, you know, I valued and was based on the way I saw the world. You know, it just never played out the way that I wanted it to. So just kind of took things into my own hands and was having some conversations with my brother back in late 24. He's the owner of a large format print business. And so just talking through kind of his experience in that space. So they do vehicle wraps, trade show banners, any sort of large format printing.
What's the name of that company, Will? Let's drop a little love for them.
It's called Speed Pro. So it's a franchise, but he has the master development rights for North Carolina, South Carolina, and North Georgia. So he has technically 18 locations, but he owns his own one in Raleigh, North Carolina. And he had seen some people move in that space or expand in that space where they're adding other, branding services to their business. So outside of signage, adding embroidery, print. I've always me personally, I know when we first talked, you were kind of shocked that I've bit off on the embroidery side of the space, and some of it is I've in terms of the type of apparel or garments that you put threads on. I've loved clothes always. I've loved gear. Whether it was pre-military, during the military. I just like seeing what's new out there, and so he and I just got to talking about it, and the little bit of research that I did, I probably could have done more, hindsight, but it seemed intriguing. I like the fact that it'd be more of a B2B industry as opposed to B2C. I worked in retail right when I got out of the military, and definitely not the sector I want to be in. But yeah, so I bought the equipment, the embroidery equipment. So a multi-head, six embroidery heads, Tajima, and then a standalone single head. So 7 heads total back in September of last year, 2025. And essentially took that time from September until about late October, early November, buying, cheap blanks, learning the digitizing software, DG17. I know I should probably be on Wilcom. That's like the standard in the space, but learning basic digitizing, messing a lot of stuff up, learning how to maintain the machine with scheduled maintenance and breaking that as well. And then just kind of going through every single contingency along the way, to a point where I felt comfortable with not only the equipment itself, but also the CRM, e-commerce platform, ERP that I use for sales quoting. And then so November was when we started taking our first orders. And at this point in time, it's just me. So I'm doing everything from start to finish, which is how I wanted it to be. I wanted to dive in every aspect of the business, not say that I will ever be the best at any of it, or close to it. But to me, if I'm going to have to hire, manage and fire in that space, I need to be able to call bullshit. I need to be able to get my hands dirty when I need to. And that is kind of my approach. If I'm going to do something or ask somebody to do something, I damn sure better be willing to do it myself. But yeah, finally brought on my first employee back in March, beginning of March, which has been great. Kind of allowed me to get a little bit of breathing room from the front lines and try to grow the business a little bit. But there's still a ways to go. But it's been fun, man. I'm loving it thus far. Got a lot to learn. Every day's a new challenge, or I'm like, I can't believe I didn't know that already. But I mean, you're delivering a product that people love, they're happy about. And, the way that I see the biggest differentiators in this space are, where you're going to set yourself apart are quality, service, and meeting timelines. And then, price is a no-brainer. Yeah. But as well, I think, one thing that I really feel like you don't see in this space, and there's few groups out there, Brandito, one of them, that is kind of mission oriented, and that's one thing that we've tried to do with Allegiance. 2% of our net profits go towards veteran and first responder, law enforcement support resources and causes, as well as a portion to combat human trafficking. So two issues that are about, and not to say that we won't add on more along the way, but for me, it just gives me, outside of just putting threads on fabric, and I do love the creative side of it. I love coming up with ideas that customers are happy about, but having that extra purpose behind it, that's always been critical for me, not just in this space, but since the beginning.
Yeah, I love it. Well, if you could, and I don't want to do a complete zoom in, but let's just try and get the lid. I want to see this logo. So this is your logo.
Yeah.
Get him. My man doesn't even have his 10,000 hours. That's 3D embroidery. I've seen it in person. Clean as heck. Open a contract printing. Obviously does his own stuff. Will sign any NDA you need. This is a PSA. Will is doing great work out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And the reason why we joked around when we first met, I was like, wow, you jumped into embroidery. Something that my old business partner and I always wanted to try. We'd always love to have it in-house for obvious reasons, controlling cost, timelines, right? And then sometimes you just need to knock a one off because accidents happen.
Right.
It is a unique and it's a difficult role. So your 10,000 hours you're gaining. And again, we're going to jump into a little bit more, but it's just kind of wild. Look, your Navy background, it just seems to be showing up in everything you said. And then I think also just the passion of the gearhead, right? Like that's exactly why I got in the industry. I just love merch. I love drippy swag, right?
Yeah.
I loved it. I'll never forget. There was actually a guy who runs something here in Richmond. It's called SEAL Team Physical Training. He's an old Navy SEAL, and he just has all these Navy SEAL workouts. And they work out no matter what, rain, shine, snow, they'll figure it out. I think lightning's the only thing they don't do. But he had always said, he goes, you put a man on the moon as long as you have the right gear. And that was kind of like year 2 or 3 for me. And I was kind of like, that was an interesting way of looking at the branded industry. Obviously, it's a SEAL quote, but it was really, really smart thought process. Like, man, we can really do anything for any industry, any company. But we have to find the right material, the right product, the right people, the right mission, whatever it is, and it's all got to come together. But amazing stuff. So couple questions as a follow-up. I would say, your experience in the Navy, your military background, what type of lessons do you think, relates to just a generic, basic person like me in sales that you say, like, your experience has helped you out with, whether it's learning all the things that you're learning here or just the sales side of what you're doing with Allegiance Custom?
I mean, shoot, there's a handful, but I think, I did 10 years in the Navy and 7 of that was as a SEAL. And then 2.5, 3 years prior was training. And I wouldn't put this unique to the SEAL teams, but you definitely in that community, because that's what I know, you're comfortable being uncomfortable. And so hopping into a new industry, I've had a lot of people tell me, and they're like, you got some balls, especially at the age of 41 or 40, I guess, when I started. But I guess I've been in situations where the consequences are a lot more dire. And, I've every single deployment that we went on, you're thrown into a resource constrained environment. You're given sometimes a fairly ambiguous problem set in terms of a defined end state. And so you really have, you're given some basic tools, and some very general broad level guidance, but you have to get on the ground, get a sense of what's going on, and you got to figure it the F out. And, you have your team. It could be as small as 2 or 3 or 4. And it could be as large as 32, but, and sometimes you're by yourself while your team's in an outstation. And so you get used to, right now, or when I started the business, it was just me. So, I mean, definitely would love to have a shooting buddy or swim buddy, along the way to kind of bounce ideas off and be in the trenches with. But at the same time, it's not something that is foreign to me. And I think that those things that can be scary, or maybe not scary, but uncomfortable or unfamiliar to other people, it's something that, for lack of a better term, has been beaten into me. And I think that it's somewhat of a mentally, it's an advantage, I think, for me, or I like to think that it is. And if there's a problem, I mean, nobody's shooting at you. You're not going to die. 10 times out of 10, it's solvable. Whether it's networking with the right folks, not being afraid to ask questions and raise your hand, just say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Or just leveraging the resources that you have, at your disposal in this day and age. I mean, not to say that AI is the end all be all in terms of facts, but it's a damn good tool. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, it's problem solving, it's grit, not quitting, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and just figuring it out. And I'm not saying that I haven't figured it out, but I'm trying.
Yeah. It's so interesting because I've got a really, really outgoing personality, and I still don't like walking into a room full of strangers, right? Like, literally, God built me to walk in a room full of strangers and be extremely uncomfortable, and I'm not. And it's funny you say that because every time I'm in there, I know I'm in the right place, if that makes any sense. Because I'm testing myself. I'm not staying in my comfort zone where I walk in and it's cheers, right? And Norm just hands you a beer and everyone knows the way, right? So I love the comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it's so funny that I'm sitting here in bow tie and you're talking about being, redeployed, and I just have zero ability to relate to it. But in sales, right? They say if you're not, if you're not growing, then you're dying. I don't necessarily say that's the case, right? Because sometimes you might need to drop off a couple of customers that every time they order something from you, you tell them, all right, I'll have it by next Friday. And then they call, they show up and they're like, dude, I need these today. Right. So I would say you're going to have a lot of learning to do as far as that is concerned. So I think we talked a lot about the partnership side, and how you could be a custom decorator for distributors, all while doing your own thing, and building your own business. But it's going to be exciting to watch, man, because I completely agree. You've got the right grit for it, no doubt about it. And again, you're working too hard to fail. But you mentioned the commute, right? Like, you wish it would be fun to have a shooting buddy or a swimming buddy for the commute from Greenville. Is there anything that you're doing during that time as far as like a mindset for the role? Is that your relaxing time, or like anything you're listening to kind of sharpen the sword as you're getting ready to go in for the day every day?
It kind of depends on the mood that I'm in. Sometimes it's just a good playlist to get me going. I'm still a huge, current events, geopolitics, nerd. So I like staying up on world events and what's going on, but at the same time, that can be, just added anxiety to the day. So I've been trying to get smart on AI and how I can apply it to the business in terms of, whether it's building out AI agents to do, simple administrative tasks so that I can focus on higher level stuff, and just trying to scale the business, getting more efficient. I've done the initial steps to build an executive AI agent and a sales agent. As far as quoting, email responses, I still have to get work on some extensions to be able to get it to function the way that I want it to. But I mean, my mindset is when I was in the SEAL teams, I mean, always be the new guy. Always look for that edge and always look for that next ridge line, in terms of how can you get better? How can you sharpen your knife edge? AI is a perfect example. There's probably, an old salty dude in this space that's been here for years, but now the AI is coming about. If you're not, if you got 20 more years left in on the time clock, 10 or 20 years, you better start digging into that. And so, I mean, there's always something in the SEAL teams. I mean, every corner you turn, I never understood guys that thought that they had made it because you turn a corner and there's a dude that's been there, seen there, done more deployments, done more ops, all that stuff. And so, at the end of the day, what harm is it to try to figure out another tool for your tool belt and try to get better at your craft? So I try to use that time for, podcasts are huge for me.
Yeah, I love that. And I would say it's so interesting. We use Gemini with what we do and the gems that you can build out, where I can just literally type in a customer and it gives the exact kind of, book report on everything that I want to know about the company that I couldn't research in literally 2 hours, right? Who they buy from, what their concerns are, what their struggles are, what their frustrations are, what point of topics they relate to me. I'm just blown away. That spits it out in 30 seconds. Like you can literally forget that you have a call at 4:45 or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you type it in and you're ready by 5. Right? It's just insane how good it is. But all right, let's wrap up the way we always wrap up. Senior quote, words to live by, something you would leave our followers and our listeners with for Will Martin and Allegiance Custom.
My actual senior quote was life's a fragile thing here. 1 minute you're munching on a burger, the next minute you're dead meat, which is from Dumb and Dumber. But one of my favorite ones is and it's not original, is William Wallace. All men die, but not all men truly live. And whether that's, I try to definitely, my time in the military was a big part of that, and got to do some cool things and work with some amazing people, and just try to use that as a launch pad into this space. And I love meeting new people, hearing new stories, but at the same time I've got 2 kids under 3, beautiful wife, and to me that's equally as important. And this space and this Allegiance Custom Products, at the end of the day, everybody's just trying to create time, space, and distance to be able to get back home and get back to their family, and ultimately, to me, that's what it's all about. And but if you can create that time, space, and distance while doing something that you enjoy, then hell yeah, go for it. So
I love it. And there's a reason why they call it a resume for one reason, and there's a tombstone for another, right?
That's right.
Resumes, going to get you a job, and tombstone's going to tell you what you actually did. And the reality of it is, no one cares what you did 9 to 5, right?
Right.
I think those are some great quotes. Well, brother, good news is we're going to hang up here. We're going to hang out.
Hell yeah.
But really appreciate you, Will. I'm going to connect you with a bunch of people. If anyone that listened to this interested in using contract decoration with Will, that's a distributor, anyone that's a supplier that wants to help Will out, I know there's a lot of folks that are amazing people. I'm looking at you, Danny Rosen. that are in that North Carolina area. This guy's ready to rock. He's ready to make an impact in this industry, and I can't wait to see what happens. So, Will, we appreciate you for all your service. We appreciate you for joining on the podcast.
Thanks for having me on, Kevin.
All right. Talk soon.
All right, buddy.